Okay guys, so this video we're going to be looking at the set position and some of the handling techniques. The last video was about things you can do in your garden, and as we're still on lockdown, this is the same sort of thing. I'm in my back garden, it's starting to get a little bit torn up, but for the benefit of you guys, let's crack on. So there's different areas that people will look at in terms of the set position. There's different views on the set position, so I'm going to go through like a range of set positions. The most important thing is that the set position that you adopt works for you. There are what I call neutral set position, three-quarter set position, and an A-frame. Some people like their set position nice and high and bouncy. Other people like to be really engaged. Again, it's what works for you. I've worked with numerous goalkeepers. They all have very different set positions along the spectrum, and it hasn't stopped them from being quite effective. So let's talk about the basic start. I wouldn't go any narrower than shoulder width apart. I've had coaches that come in right here. If you're a smaller goalkeeper, I think that will work for you. If you're a taller goalkeeper, what tends to happen is your knees tend to bow out, and therefore as you start to rise out of your step, which is not what we want. We want nice linear motion in terms of where our head's at. So my set position is feet slightly more than shoulder width apart. My knees are over my toes, my shoulder is over my knees, and my hip is in line with my ankle. My shoulders are back and my chest, but I'm nice and relaxed up there. My eyes are looking and my nose is pointing at the ball, okay, and my hands right in front. Now if I turn that to the side, hopefully you can see, knees are over toes, hip is in line with the ankle, shoulder in line with the knees, and then my leg and my arms are parallel, and I'm in that position there, okay? I can feel the body weight on the balls of my feet, so I'm not on my toes, because what I don't want to do is the ball to come in, my head to go back, and then me to lose balance. So I have full contact with the floor, like so, okay? And then my body weight is forward, and I'm just touching with my toes just to make sure I don't fall forward, okay? So that's the important part of that. There is the A-frame, so people go a little bit wider. They tend to bend more in the knee, sit in with the hips, and have their hands out here. For example, I know Fulham roughly do that sort of thing. I could be slightly off, but they're in here because they're looking for that kind of quick reaction where you're staying away from and giving yourself the most amount of reaction time. And then also we've got the foot saves in there. When we lead into a dive on the A-frame, it's an inverted step. What that means is the foot actually comes in for you to push out. Now, I know that works for some goalkeepers. For me, you are taking away from the line of the ball to push into it. So with that sense, I think you're losing a touch of time, but that's just my preference and my thought pattern on it, and I'm happy for people to discuss and educate me on it. On the three-quarter set, I actually just put in a huge study because Onana, and they were trying to change it, but he actually has got an incredibly quick reaction time. So it's a three-quarter set, feet are slightly further shoulder width apart, and what happens is your shoulders glide across to engage that leg, and then we push off. I actually quite like the idea, and I've got to do a little bit more research on it, but if we're going to just go with basics, feet slightly more than shoulder width apart, knees over toes, shoulders over knees, legs, arms parallel, and in there, okay, not bending over too much, not bending the knee too much, just a nice line where we're nice and balanced in there, okay? And the next movement for my set position would be I'm trying to get my head to the height and the line of the ball, okay? So if the ball is a medium range, that's really easy for my head, okay? The line of the ball is the ball's travel across, so therefore I would glide across, engaging, pushing with this leg, so I'll be pushing for speed, engaging this leg, and that's where my step would come in. So I've moved my head first, okay? So my head is moved first, then the step comes in. If I take the step first, what tends to happen is I leave my head behind, and now I've got to ride my leg. So I've got to go up and over my leg in order to make sure that I get in towards it. So the most important thing is my head and my shoulders go towards the line of the ball, and then get that step in, and now I can engage into the ball. Okay? So that's really important. That's what our set position is for. It's preparing ourselves for movement. Okay? Ready, set, and then we go. Okay? So that's important. There I am. If the ball then goes low, I see so many goalkeepers, and I've heard goalkeeper coaches talk about moving that leg out of the way to get down into that area. Now, that's not my personal preference, because I don't think we should take anything away from the ball. I think we should add to the ball all the time. And what I mean by that is, if the ball is in there, with the introduction of the foot save, we can step in, we can go into a block if the ball is close, we can go into a forward scoop, which will show later, okay? But if the ball then is a little bit outside the line of the foot in that horrible area there, okay, what we can do is, as we step, we collapse the knee. That's why I call it a low collapse. So we step, we low collapse, and then my hand goes across into there, okay? So there's very, very little time for the ball to get underneath our body, whereas from personal experience, when I've done that and I've tried to get my hand, it's that horrible one that's gone underneath my armpit, okay? So we try and stay away from that. Set position from the side, knees over toes, shoulders over knees, hip in line with the ankles, legs and arms parallel, ready for the ball. Nice and relaxed up top, okay, nice and ready to go on the bottom. So that's really, really important, okay? That's a neutral set. In terms of a low set, so if the ball is close, it's on the floor, it's not bouncing, okay, what we're looking for is slightly wider, because I need that base, and then my hands go outside the line of my knees, because I don't want my knees getting in the way when my arms move, okay? If my arms do need to come in, I'm going to move my knees out of the way anyway, to go into that forward scoop, okay? So there I am, and now what I can do is I can glide across, I can collapse that knee still, I'm going to go that way, okay, there, into that low collapse, okay? And it allows me a really, really good base of movement. So remember, we're just talking about the set at the moment, and we're going to go into some handling it, okay? So just make sure, full contact on the floor, body weight is forward, okay, not on our toes, not bouncing, because then we're working off a timing mechanism. Hands out in front, seeing so many goalkeepers start doing the kepper, okay? Hand-eye coordination. If your eyes can't see your hands, they don't know what's going on, okay? And therefore your reaction time is slowed, because the brain has to pick up where the hands are going as they come into focus, okay? While trying to figure out the height, the trajectory, the pace, the depth perception, all of that things to do with the ball, okay? So make sure your eyes can see your hands, make sure you know where your hands are before you attempt to go into any type of dive, any type of save, okay? Okay, so we've looked at set position, so I'm going to get into my set position, and now we're going to look at the different types of handling. So we've got the W, which we're going to look at first. We're going to look at cup, and finally we're going to look at the scoop. My garden's a little bit wobbly, so that might cause a few issues, but we're going to roll with it. Excuse the pun. So we'll start off with the set position, and then we're going to move on to the W, okay? So the ball's going to get thrown in. She's currently at our shop. It's my wife Sophie, who hates football, so she's not too keen on this, but I'm going to be set. The ball's going to come at my nose, and I'm going to work into that W position, okay? Okay, ready when you are? So the ball comes in, it's there, okay? So now you guys shouldn't be able to see my head. You see my elbows are tucked in, okay? My fingers are pointing to the sky. My wife decided not to pay attention to the W catch. Okay, so there I am in my set position. Ball comes in, there, okay? Notice that my eyes, my nose are behind the ball, my shoulders are there, okay? My elbows are tucked in, I'm still in that position. Just drop it again. Okay. Okay, a little bit low. So what I've done there is, as the ball came in, you notice that my knees kind of sunk slightly, tucked my elbows in. So what I'm not trying to do is, I'm not trying to snatch at the ball. Okay, I'm letting the ball hit my hands. Now the ball is dry, my gloves are dry, but my technique is staying nice and solid. There's my set position again, ball comes in, there, okay, a little bit high, bring it back in there, okay, and tuck those elbows in. One last time please. There it is, there's that sink again, a little bit of a bend, okay. Now the reason why I'm sinking is there's a little bit of a grey area here where when the ball comes in that W and it's a little bit too high to get that cup in, what we want to do is we want to sink the ball down so we get our head and shoulders behind the ball. Okay, there's going to be one last time and the ball's just going to go slightly off to the side. Okay, and what we're looking for is a little bit higher, please. Sorry, can't get the staff. Okay. Ball's going to go slightly to the side there. Okay, and you notice that we talked about this earlier in the set position. My shoulders glided across. My step came in, and my hands went in there. My elbows are still there, but I've slightly tilted. So I haven't tried to drive my hip. I've stayed strong through the core there, and just tilted ever so slightly. Okay. Now we're going to look at the cup. Okay. Now the cup is where the ball comes around the belly button. Okay. Same set position. This time, rather than bringing my hands up and my thumbs together, I'm going to bring my hands down. Now this is something that I do slightly different to other goalkeepers. You can go with two hands in. I tend to wrap one hand over the top because of a good friend of mine showed me that, and I think it works really, really well. So in my set position, ball comes belly button. Okay, I'm going to make that cup save. Yes, please. Comes in. There we go. Now you'll notice that I'm not bringing the ball to me. I'm taking me to the ball. Okay. The ball comes in. There. Okay. There's my hand over the top, and my whole body's gone down, because if I bring the ball up, I'll show you. If the ball comes up and it's coming in quickly, now we've got a problem. It bounces off the heel of our hand, it bounces off our forearms, it can come off our bicep, and that's when it goes out. We want to smother the ball as quickly as we can, and if we force ourselves down, we stop the unpredictable nature of how the ball can bounce. Yes, please. Ball comes in, there it is. Okay, so that ball came in a little bit high, the trajectory was a little bit high, so you might have seen me raise up, because again it's on the lower end of that grey area, where I can just bring that ball nicely into that belly button. Here I am, there, and I fold over the top again. Feet are still planted, body weight's forward. Okay. Now the last one we're going to look at is that forward scoop. Oh, before I do that, the ball comes to the side again. Really, really important. A lot of you will do this one. So the ball comes to the side, and you'll rotate, and that's not what we want. There's no barrier behind the ball there. That ball can easily skip off my arm and go in behind the goal. We've got to be stepping into across the line and dive and keeping those shoulders nice and square. So there I am with my set. Okay, I'm going to step across, a little bit too high. There, okay, legs straight because I've pushed off it, legs bent. Now if I needed to, I could fall that way. I'm not going to because there's bricks underneath those flowers. Okay, now the ball's going to get rolled across the floor. So the ball's come in quite quickly, okay, I'm in that set. Now it might have come in from distance, so I'm not going to go into the low set, I'm going to go to the normal set. There I am in my normal set, ball's going to come in, okay, there, and I'm going to go down, okay, so it's called a forward scoop. Straight in the middle, please. So it's there. You can roll it, that'd be great. Okay, ball comes in, there, and then down. Okay, now a couple of things on that. The ball's coming in dead straight, so I can choose which leg I drop into. Okay, depending on what the angle. So if the angle's coming across me here, I'll step and drive with that leg. It's coming across here. It's coming dead straight. I'm going whichever side I want to. This leg steps across. This knee, the toe turns in and drops the knee down. I see so many goalkeepers trying to do this. It's going to put loads of pressure on your medial ligament. Okay, it's not good for your knee. So I'm just going to want you to turn. The problem with turning there is my hips. So we've got to stay nice and strong with our shoulders, hands behind the back of the ball. Now, sometimes when that ball comes in, it comes in really, really quickly. What we can do is take our fingertips away. When we take our fingertips away, what that does is it stuns the ball there, and then we can just scoop it up. Okay. Ball's going to come in. Roll it, please. So there, up into there, and down there. Now, obviously, if it's coming in very slowly, you're probably not going to have to hit that forward scoop. But when we're learning it, it's very, very important that you have that habit rather than having a habit of going down low and keeping your shoulders high. Make sure you're getting your shoulders over the top of the ball, your nose across over the top of the ball, head over the top of the ball, and then if you lose balance, the ball's not going anywhere. I'm just going to have a couple to the left and right now so you can see me step into it. Roll, please. Roll, please. So it's there, step across and into that forward scoop. Okay. Step across. Okay. Now you'll notice that, hopefully you'll notice, is that as I'm stepping across, my head's driving across, I'm leaving that leg out there, the ball's going here. Now I'm going to drive that leg in there, so I get my hands behind the back of the ball and finish off. And I am finish off on a slight angle. Now that's not a problem, because if the ball's coming from here, and I'm attacking across the line of the ball there, if I do spill it, I'm pushing it into a nice wide area. A couple more. Now I don't know if you saw that, but it had a little bit of a kick up just before, and the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to go down too early, because if the ball does kick up, we're going to have to change our hand shape. Okay, caught me by surprise there. Ball's coming quick, it's coming at a slightly greater angle. I'm over here. What I've done there is what we talked about earlier, is I have stepped, and then I've collapsed that knee down, hands gone across the ball, see my head's behind the back of the ball. Now this is how I do it. Some goalkeeper coaches will tell you to do this. I prefer that, because now I can bring that hand in. I've got that if it bounces, I've got this hand if it bounces. As it comes in here, I'm just going to smother it anyway, okay? Whereas my personal issue with it is with my hands there, if that ball does come in and it bounces out there, now I've got a real problem. Okay, so I use my second barrier a little bit more. Last one, and then we're done for the day. We'll go this side. So it's there, and we go again. Oh. Okay, you notice I went with two hands there. Okay, it bounced through, because I already engaged my top hand, my second hand. Not very good for me. Wait until I'm set. Yep. Okay, oh, there we go, and that bounce. Now, I'm expecting that ball to come in nice and lovely, okay? And I'm just about to engage, and as I see it bounce, it loses all pace, and because I've got that controlling step there, I'm able to shuffle my feet and go into a forward scoop. So thank you to Sophie, my wife. Excellent distribution. So the elements that we looked at is, we looked at the W, okay, elbows being tucked in. I'll come and grab this ball again. As the ball comes up, W is for above your shoulder, your chest line. Sorry, not your shoulder line, above your chest line. Ball's in there, like so. Okay, if the ball goes outside the line, we're going to step, we're going to try and keep our shoulders either side of that ball, and try and keep our head behind the back of it, okay? When the ball does come in for that W, what we're not wanting to do is not wanting to snatch at the ball, we're not wanting to come round the side of the ball. Our set position isn't, we don't want to come round, we want to come straight up, okay? We want to go straight down. So when that ball comes in, we're taking that ball here, right in front of our heads. Plenty of time now for this. We're starting to take it here, we're adjusting our shoulders, we're adjusting our head, okay? Elbows start to flare, and that's where the ball gets pushed over the top, or we drop it out in front, okay? So, nice set position there, okay? As the ball comes in, W, bang. My preference, again on the cup, ball comes over, one hand over the top. That keeps my elbows nice and close. I see so many goalkeepers where they come from here and they jump up on that preload and their hand, and all of a sudden there's a big, huge gap there, and it goes through, and obviously our legs are there as well, okay, and it gets a bit embarrassing. So we don't want that. What we want to do is make sure those elbows are nice and tidy, nice and tight in, so the ball can't go through. We're in there, hands in, and then we're going to fold our body over the top, okay? Exactly the same on a forward scoop. Ball is low, there it is, step, the knee turns and drives down, my hands drive down to keep that shoulder in line. We don't want that shoulder twisted. Don't really want that knee touching the floor either, I'm just hovering there. I'll explain why in a minute. Hands go behind the back of the ball, and then we just fall on top, we scoop it into our chest, okay? Ball's not going to go anywhere. Why don't we want to put our knee on the floor? Well, let me tell you. If I put my knee on the floor and that ball takes a deflection or it bounces over there, I'm now in a horrible situation where all my weight is through my knee and I can't move. If I just hover, I'm only going in there for a split second. If I just hover and that ball now takes, all my weight is here. Now I've got huge muscles, huge big muscle groups in there, and that should have a nice bit of power, especially as goalkeepers, a nice bit of power just to explode out. Also, because that's bent, I can still push off here. I can now go into a little bit more of a reaction save, okay? Guys, thanks very much for watching. Really basic stuff. Good set position that works for you. Good handling techniques. We've got the W above the chest, between the chest and the knee. We're looking at that cup, okay? And below the knee, we're looking at a forward scoop, okay? Now, some coaches will teach differently. That's absolutely fine. Everybody's got a preference. I teach what I've been taught, and what I've been taught, I've taught others, and it's worked well for them. If anybody's got any questions about anything, I'm happy to answer them. Put them in the comments below. Hit me up on social media, which will be at the bottom of this video. And also, if anybody has any advice, any input that they think I could be doing a little bit better in terms of goalkeeper coaches out there, I'm always happy to learn, I'm always happy to hear, okay? Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, stay safe, isolate together. Bye-bye.